Hey, how are you today? So I thought I would chat today on this nice, really sunny, kind of breezy day today, but I wanted to chat with you about backyard chickens and eggs. Welcome to Goose Pond Hideout. Honk, 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 honk. With Rob and all the geese. So, a lot of people, maybe you've been thinking about it because of the price of eggs and the shortages of eggs and all the fear monger and stuff that's been going on with chickens and eggs and that. You're saying, gee, maybe we'll get some chickens for our, we can have eggs on our own. And for me, it's kind of, obviously we have chickens here on the homestead and we've had them for a long time. It's kind of one of those things that make sure you're asking the right question. And by that, kind of what I mean is, if you're thinking about getting chickens because the price of eggs are high, you might want to rethink that decision. If you're thinking about getting chickens because the grocery stores don't have eggs, there's a shortage, you might want to be rethinking your decision. Because in my opinion, those aren't two good reasons for you getting backyard chickens. If you want to be more self-sufficient, more self-sustaining, if you have kids and you want to educate them on taking care of animals besides puppy dogs and kitty cats, and all those kinds of things, then it's probably a good decision. But I've got a few fresh chicken eggs and a couple goose eggs there for you to compare the sizes of those. Those are fresh too. I had to chase the geese away a minute ago because they were making too much noise. And because the reality is, let's just think about it, is if you get backyard chickens and you're not set up for it at all, you got to have some sort of coop, something for them to live in. That's going to set you back some money. And you've got to have something to keep them in, because predators are a very real thing. And even if you live in a safe suburban kind of area and you don't think, well, we don't really have hawks or coyotes or anything like that, neighborhood cats, dogs, all just has to get in your yard once. So you want to be able to keep your birds safe. And the big common expense is feed. Birds eat a lot of food. The old joke is about eat like a bird, but birds actually eat a lot. So your typical chicken's going to eat about a quarter pound of food a day. So if you have 4 chickens, a 50-pound bag of food is going to last you roughly 2 months, 8 weeks, 2 months time. And so think about what the cost of that's going to be. And feed has gotten kind of expensive lately, so you may be looking at $15 or so type of bag of food. And one of the things that most people don't really think about, what are you going to buy? Full-grown chickens? That's going to be expensive. And all the farm stores now, this time of the year, they have their chick days and they sell day-old chicks for $3, $4, $5 a piece, depending on what kinds you get. Now you need a brooder to keep them in. You got to keep them warm because they can't regulate their body temperature. So now you're going to have heat lamps, and they use a tremendous amount of electricity, and they don't last very long. They go out on you. So what happens if your heat lamp goes out at 3 in the morning? I'd recommend one of these brooder plates. It's like a little hot plate. It uses hardly any electricity at all. And you can raise and lower it as your chicks get bigger as they're growing, but that's an expense. And you're not going to get eggs. Honestly, the chickens are going to have to be about 6 months old, at least 5 months old. So if you get day-old chicks today, go mark your calendar for whatever today is while you're watching this. you're not going to have eggs for 5 months down the road. And chickens are photo daylight sensitive, so they need a certain amount of daylight in order to lay eggs. So in the summertime you're going to get nearly an egg a day, and it's so if you have your 4 chickens, plan on maybe getting 3 eggs a day. So 3 eggs every day, that's 21 eggs a week, just short of 2 dozen eggs. Well, that's great, but then in the winter time, you might not get any eggs, depending on where you live. If you're down in, Florida along the Gulf Coast, your days stay a little bit longer in the winter time. If you're way up north, you've got really short days, so there's no way your chickens are going to be laying any significant number of eggs. And then temperature and other things, stress them too. They molt in the fall. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is it's not consistent. You get a lot of eggs for 2, 3, maybe 4 months out of the year, and then you get no eggs for 2, 3, 4 months out of the year. So how's that going to fit into your food planning? And are you really going to eat 2, 3, 4 eggs every single day, day in and day out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? So those are the things that you want to be thinking about. And again, I certainly actually recommend having chickens, but you've got to think about where you're going to keep them, the manure, chicken waste. It's going to be smelly, and you can't just put it on your garden right away, because it's what we call hot. It's got to be aged for a while in that. Or if you're in a suburban area, your neighbor's going to complain about the noise and the smell and things like that. So and egg prices now are actually starting to come down. That's one of the reasons I kind of waited to make this, is I kind of wanted to wait till the crises was ebbing off in that. But egg prices are coming down. Availability is going back up. A big part of it is because people panic and everybody starts buying eggs, even though they didn't used to buy eggs before. But if you're looking for some self-sufficiency, self-sustaining, you want to be more independent, so you're going to have some chickens and some eggs. The educational factor to me is huge. If you do have children, grandchildren, because they do take an amazing amount of time and care. You've got to get up and let them out of their coops every morning, check their water, check their feed, clean up their coops, put new bedding down, figure out what to do with the waste that you clean out. Are you going to have to haul it away, or can you do a manure pile, and recycle it in your backyard? And all of that is really good. And they're entertaining. Nothing like watching your chickens out in the yard scratching and pecking, and when the rooster finds something, he calls over the hens, and they all peck and scratch, and keeping the roosters keeping them safe. Now, of course, if you live in a suburban-y, urban-y area, you're only going to have hens, and you're not going to be allowed to have roosters, because they're much more noisy with the kind of thing. So that's the sort of things, because it's really, again, all about your freedom. And having chickens, or geese only lay eggs in like the spring. So for 2 or 3 months they lay their eggs, then they're done for the year. So you're only good. And the same thing with guinea fowl. We have guinea fowl. So chickens are kind of an unusual bird in the fact that they lay eggs all the time. Obviously they lay more in the spring and the summer, and they lay less in the fall and the winter. But your typical birds have a breeding season, and then they're done for the year. So those are all kinds of things to think about. Let me know what you think. If you got a question about chickens or geese or guineas, or setting up your backyard coop and all of that, I'm happy to help you out. Let me know, because again, freedom, right?